Okay, so today what we want to talk about is traceability. Yeah, how is traceability used in the food industry? Obviously, everything that is consumed by anyone needs to be traced, or for us, it's called lot tracked. So basically, when the food is going through the supply chain, it has a lot number. And the lot number is just moving along between different processors in the chain. Let's say, for example, some fish is being caught on the waters. It gets a lot number, and then it gets moved into a processing plant where it gets processed. It might get a different lot number there, and then it's pushed through some supply chain, let's say some warehouses, and ultimately it goes to the grocery store. And then is bought by the end consumer and consumed. So let's say if something happens, someone gets sick, the fish is identified and where it came from, and then they trace back basically all the way down, even to the waters where it was caught. And so they have to go each vendor along the way, or each supplier, and say, hey, this was bought from you, this is the lot number, where did you buy it from, etc., etc. So in order, it's extremely important for everyone who's in the supply chain to have really good traceability. And in Inecta Food, this is actually pivotal for us. I mean, everything is built on traceability. So like when the product is bought, it gets lot tracked. As long as it's a consumable, obviously you can skip it. If it's like packaging or something like that, it doesn't need to be tracked to that level. But if it's a consumable, then you lot track it, you lot stamp it on the way in, and then it might get processed on the way. Either it could be split into many parts, like a fish gets filleted and stuff like that, or if it's used in a recipe and we're making soup or something like that. So the lot could be combined with many other lots to make one lot. So the soup with fish in it, would have multiple lots underneath it. Now, and this is of course, we have to comply to government rules. We have to have recalls effective and quick, and that's the benefit of that. But if you have to lot track everything, you get other opportunities. For example, costing. Even though we don't have to comply, with costing like that for the government, since we're lot tracking everything through, we can actually have cost on every single lot, and we can see how the cost accrues through the chain. So like freight costs, duties, handling costs, storage costs, and then it gets used in a recipe, and multiple lots get put together and make a final good, and that final good will have the combined cost of all those individual ingredients. So since it's all lot tracked, we can get the costing down to be a lot more granular, which makes figuring out whether you're profitable or how profitable you are on a product just so much easier. And so we utilize that. Since we're in the food industry, we kind of get that for free. We have to lot track everything. We have the cost in the lot, and then that flows through, and things are just more exact and easier to deal with. So looking a little bit forward on traceability. Now, when you're using Inecta Food as a supplier or in your company, you're just one link in the chain. And so basically, let's say the food is traveling all the way from like a vessel, the fish from a vessel, and going all the way to the grocery store. Having the traceability of every single vendor that touched the product in this supply chain is going to be very important. And there have been some efforts of trying to actually get the whole chain stored somewhere. And government regulations are pushing to have that happen. And in some cases that has happened, and they are able to trace, you pick a product in the grocery store and you can actually just scan it and you can see exactly what path it went through. And I think every single company has to be ready for this. And there have been talk about like blockchain using that technology to store the data so it's immutable and it's just forever, like you can guarantee that it's correct. And we are also at the forefront of connecting to those systems so that the traceability is exact, and it's fast, and it's in the hands of the consumer, so that they really know where they're buying stuff from. So let's say if you go to the grocery store and you pick up a fillet of fish, you can scan it and you can say, oh wow, this fish or this fillet of fish was caught in the North Atlantic, for example, and you can be sure that it is wild caught. You could probably even get the vessel that it was caught on. So, and that's, we're going to get there. We are so ready for this. We've integrated already with a few systems that do that, but that's definitely the future of traceability.